Hello guys and welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. Today we are returning with Game Week 17 and kicking off the fixture. It's a Friday night game which we haven't had for quite a while as Nottingham Forest host Tottenham. I'm actually recording this about half an hour into that game. It's currently 0-0, but I have gone for a Tottenham 2-1 victory, so I'll be watching the end of that game after recording this, and annoyingly I'll be supporting Spurs for the 2-1. Next up in Game 2, a very informed Bournemouth side hosting Luton Town, who I actually think have been playing pretty well recently. They haven't quite had the results to match, but their actual performances have been very good. On this occasion though, with Bournemouth in such great form, I have gone for them to win it by 2-0. Iraola has them playing some really good stuff at the moment. Off the back of their 3-0 win at Old Trafford, I think they will win it pretty comfortably. Game 3 is my boys Chelsea, of course, hosting Sheffield United, and the full fixture has actually been sent out for this one, and I'm the only one to have gone for Sheffield United to win it. I've gone for 1-0. It's just the sort of game against the low block with Chris Wilder in charge. So they're going to come and park the bus, we know that. But against the low block, Chelsea have really struggled, and the chances of us conceding, pretty high. We're so bad at the back. As I say, I'm the only person to have predicted Sheffield United to win. There's a couple of people with Chelsea as their joker, and if Chelsea do win it, then I'm happy either way. Game 4 is usually a bit of a cracker between Manchester City and Crystal Palace. Palace have a good record at the Etihad, despite obviously being underdogs every time they play there. On this occasion, I have gone for City to win it by 3-1. But as I say, with the history of the fixture, there's every chance that Crystal Palace somehow scrape a point or all three. Game 5 sees Newcastle hosting Fulham in a game where most people have Newcastle as favourites, but after brilliant performances in their last two games, winning both at home by 5-0, Fulham look like they may have potentially turned a corner this season. Personally, I have gone for Newcastle to win it by 2-1. They have a pretty good record against Fulham, especially at St James's Park. Obviously, they're very, very short on numbers at the moment, Newcastle. They got knocked out of the Champions League, so I'm sure they'll be looking for a bounce back. They are a lot better at home than they are away, and Fulham's away form is pretty poor, so that's why I've gone for Newcastle to win it. Game 6 sees Sean Dyche returning to Burnley, where of course he really made a name for himself. His Everton side in very, very good form at the moment, and their away form is actually very good as well. They've been sort of known over the last couple of years as having a really, really good home record at Goodison, but this season they've been much better on the road, and with that in mind, I've gone for Everton to win by 2-0. Burnley had a brilliant victory against Sheffield United before Chris Wilder obviously was appointed, so that will give them a boost heading into another game at Turf Moor. But with Everton in great form, I see them winning this one again. In Game 7, Arsenal host Brighton at the Emirates, and this was quite a straightforward one for me. Arsenal generally have a pretty good home record, and Brighton in really, really poor league form at the moment. Obviously, it's their first sort of proper campaign in Europe, so that is taking its toll. It's difficult playing Thursday, Sunday most weeks, and they haven't kept a clean sheet all season long, so I have gone for Arsenal to win it by 3-1. Game 8 sees hit and miss Brentford hosting Aston Villa at the G-Tech, and obviously Aston Villa's home record has been absolutely sublime this season, but on the road they're not quite as good, so there are quite a few people who have gone for a draw in this one. But with Brentford being so hit and miss, I've gone for Villa to continue their winning run with a 2-1 victory. Game 9, another of the claret and blue sides, West Ham hosting Wolves at the London Stadium, managed to top their group in the Europa League, beating Freiburg by 2-0 in midweek, so I'm sure that'll give them a bit of confidence. It was a bit of a stroll in the park from what I saw, and I've gone for them to win again on Sunday against Wolves. West Ham are another side that are a little bit hit or miss. Obviously beat Spurs and then went on to lose at Fulham, and having played on Thursday, they may need to rotate their side slightly. Obviously still missing Mikel Antonio up top, who does make a big difference in the way that they play. Wolves have been pretty good at home this year, but not so good on the road, which is why I've gone for West Ham to pick up all 3 points. And then the final game of the fixture, of course, the big one, Liverpool hosting Manchester United at Anfield, 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. I'm looking forward to this one. For me, this was a pretty straightforward one as well. I've gone for Liverpool to win it by 3-0. United in really poor form at the moment, dumped out of the Champions League in midweek. Liverpool very, very good at home. I saw a stat the other day saying that Manchester Manchester United hadn't scored at Anfield for 5 years. So yeah, quite a bad stat, bad viewing for Manchester United. So I've gone for Liverpool to win it, and I think it will be pretty comfortable for them. And finally, our Joker game this week, I've returned to Manchester City Jokers. Despite them not being in amazing form, I do think that they will win at home to Crystal Palace, and there weren't too many that jumped out to me as absolute bankers this week. So yeah, Man City to beat Palace, 3-1 as our Joker. Let's head over to the predictions website and see how we got on in fixture 16, which was of course the midweek games. As you can see, there is a little bit of a gap starting to appear ahead of us. We're currently in 6th place, which isn't too bad. There is an 8-point gap to 4th place, and then beyond that, we're a further 7 points behind the 2 leaders in 1st and 2nd. As I've mentioned, there are a lot of fixtures over Christmas, so a lot can change, and that's what I'm banking on. We need to start with a good fixture here. We didn't do particularly well in fixture 16, but we did finish in quite a high position for the fixture, which just shows how much everyone struggled. Just the 5 points on the board, and again, no correct scores, which seems to be a recurring theme. We need to turn some of these 1-pointers into 3s. Here is a quick breakdown of the points that we did pick up. Obviously, Liverpool just about managing to beat Crystal Palace at Anfield. We then didn't pick up any other points until the late kickoff, so no points in the 3 o'clock games. Really disappointing. But of course, Aston Villa did beat Arsenal, which was a pretty good shout from us. A lot of people had a draw or an Arsenal win, so good to pick up a point there. Of course, Chelsea lost at Everton on Sunday. West Ham losing at Fulham. We got very lucky with our Manchester City Joker. There was for quite a long period of time a little bit of doubt that they may not come away with the victory, but they did manage to pick it up in that second half. And then finally Tottenham beating Newcastle in the 4:30 kickoff picked us up another point. But yeah, not particularly good, just the 5 points. We need to be up at the top here with the people picking up 10s and 12s, and I'm hoping for a much better run in fixture 17. So guys, that will do it for today's Premier League predictions video, as Spurs have literally just gone a goal up right before half time at the City ground, so our Spurs win is looking pretty decent for this first fixture. Of course, there are going to be a lot of Premier League game weeks over the Christmas period, so I will try my hardest to keep up to date, and I'll catch you for the next one, fixture 18, very soon. Peace.